Welcome everyone to See the Waves. I'm here to help you see the trends using price charts as a visual aid. That way you're able to ride the trends to success. And today I want to talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been on quite a run for the last several weeks, really since inception for the last several years. But more recently, over the last couple of weeks, since October the 1st, Bitcoin has risen nearly 65%. And is up nearly 350% from the March 2020 pandemic low. So it begs the question, are we in the middle of a bubble and the Bitcoin bubble is about to pop? Or is this another trend that we're in the very early stages of and we could see much more monumental strength behind it? I mean, I've seen some price predictions for Bitcoin that are six figures, meaning more than $100,000 per Bitcoin. I've also seen some price predictions that go up to 150,000, even $250,000. Well, right now, Bitcoin is sitting at about $17,000 per coin. So could you imagine an investment of $17,000 that could be worth $250,000 or 250,000 in just a few months or maybe a couple of years? And so is it a bubble or are we early in the trend? So let's use our charts as visual aids and let's see where we might be at within this. So for many people, Bitcoin hit the radar in 2017. So in the last half of 2017, price had broken out to a new high above $1,300 and went on its way up to $20,000 per coin in a matter of just a few months. So it was a monumental rise. At that point, the price came back down to earth and it ended up collapsing almost 90%. So from that 2017 high down to the low in 2018 is about an 84% correction. So as we later found out, obviously a lot of speculation, a lot of frenzy going on during that meteoric rise in 2017. But as we later found out in 2019, that only about 5% of Americans, this was a study done in the United States, only 5% of the Americans had actually owned any Bitcoin. But yet there were 78% of Americans who had heard of Bitcoin. So that leaves a big gap of folks who have heard of it, but they ended up not buying it. And so why did they not buy it? Well, probably for a lot of the reasons that I did not buy it. Bitcoin first hit my radar in February 2017. So when I first heard about Bitcoin, it was about, let's say about right here. And so at that point, Bitcoin's trading about maybe $2,000 per coin. And then from there, it went all the way up, 10 times its value, up to about 20,000, and then collapsed back down to 3,000. And it was for several years after that point, had I been watching the price of Bitcoin, but never bought into it. And why? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, I was like everybody else, thought it was just a bubble, that it couldn't be trusted. And so those were reasons that kept me on the sideline. And so perhaps you can relate to that as well, just the intimidation of understanding Bitcoin. There's not anything physical that I can put my hands on as to what I'm actually buying or why I'm sending my money off in order to buy this thing that's not tangible. Basically what it boils down to is the problems is that I felt like I couldn't trust it. I feel like I got a better handle on it now. There's a relatively scarce supply. There's only 21 million Bitcoin that are ever going to be created. We've got about 18 million of them available at this time, so there'll be some more Bitcoin coming online over the next several years, but it's going to be at a slow pace. And but that scarcity of supply is really what is attractive to people. Also, you've got the decentralized nature of it, where no central authority is in charge of Bitcoin. If we take a look at this historical price chart on Bitcoin, let's see what we can learn from this price chart as to what might be next for it. Here's a price chart for Bitcoin that goes back to 2012. And we had a very large peak in 2013, followed by another large peak in 2017. Now, the peak in 2013 was another huge correction as well. That one corrected about 88%. So in 2014, 88% correction. In 2018, we had about an 84% correction. So that's one of the first things that if you do decide to invest in Bitcoin to keep your mind on is that, yes, it does have large increases in price, but this also will have a very large dips as well. And you never know if that 30% dip is going to turn into a 50% dip, is going to turn into a 75% dip, and so forth. And over the long run, the price continues to move up exponentially, but it is prone to very large dips from time to time. So we're taking a look here, 2013 major high, 2017 major high, and this price chart that we're looking at is what's called a logarithmic price chart. Basically, it takes 100% gain. 100% gain at $4 a coin is going to be the same movement on the price chart as 100% gain going from $40 a coin to $80 a coin. And that's going to be the same size as 100% gain going from 8,000 a coin to 16,000 a coin. So basically, a logarithmic chart basically maps the percentage gain and standardizes that for the length of the chart. And that's what we're looking at. So, these moves down here at the bottom, it's only a couple of dollars per Bitcoin, whereas these moves up here to the top, same size, but it's a couple $100 per Bitcoin. Now, just so you can see the difference, if I switch it back to just a regular chart, this is what a regular simple chart looks like, where every movement, every size of the bar is going to be about 1 Bitcoin or 10 Bitcoin or whatever that standard is. And so the patterns are much easier to see when we're looking at a log chart, and that's what we have here. Something else that stands out to me as well is that if we were to go through and if we were just to map out, prices are in a really nice channel here. Let me move this back to the left. Okay, you can see that prices are moving very nicely within this channel. In 2013, we came up, reached this high price, came back down, rested alongside the bottom side of this channel, rallied back up to the high in 2017, have come back and hit the bottom side of this channel. So we will use chart art, we will use technical analysis on charts to help frame the patterns for us. And here's an instance where Bitcoin is trading and has been trading inside this price channel going back, we could even call it 2013. So for the past 7 years, 7+ years, Bitcoin has been trading inside this price channel. It will not trade inside this price channel forever. But for the time being, that's the sentiment and the mood of this market. And as long as we're holding above this lower purple line, we can reasonably expect that this price channel may continue to hold prices. As a matter of fact, if we come down, we've got another little mini pattern taking place here that from the low in 2011, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got a little 7 wave pattern higher. And if we take a look at it again off of this low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we've got a similar rise going up into the high on both of these 2013 and 2017 highs. So moving forward, what could we be looking at? Well, from that 2013 high, we have a retracement that came back down, met the midline, rallied a little bit, and then came back and approached the bottom support line. So we have a rally higher, prices came down, approached the midline, rallied a little bit, and then fell back eventually down towards this lower line. So if that's the case, then Bitcoin may be on the verge of rallying back up to the midpoint of this price channel, possibly into the upper end of this price channel. So as it stands right now, as of today, the midpoint of this channel is about $35,000 per coin. Now, as time progresses to the right, that price level, the midline, increases. And so if we were to look at, let's say, June or July of next year in 2021, that midline is going to be up near $50,000 a coin. By the end of 2021, so just about a year from now, the midline is going to be up near $72,000 a coin. And as price comes up, it may meet the midline, it may correct a little bit lower, and then previously there was another rally above the midline. So we may see prices rally into that $30,000 to $50,000 range. Just depends how quick it happens on where it meets this midline. We may see a little bit of a correction, and then from there, if it were to move up to the top of this price channel in June or so of 2021, you're looking at about $200,000, maybe even up to $250,000 per coin. So that's where some of those price predictions come into play at about $250,000 per coin, is that if this price channel stays in force and Bitcoin rallies up to the top end of this this particular price channel. So my conclusion on all this, and looking at the chart and where we might be, is Bitcoin in a bubble? Is it about getting ready to burst? Or is it in the early stages of a rally? I would lean towards we're in the early stages of a much larger rally. This rally has a reasonable chance of getting to 100,000, maybe even to 150,000 over the course of the next couple of years. Is there a chance that Bitcoin could also lose 90% of its value as well? Yes, that could happen as well. But if we fall back below this lower purple line, and if we hold below there for any length of time, so this little dip here was that flash crash in March because of that pandemic. If we had another situation like that where we had a quick flash crash, it might poke down below there just very briefly, but it should buoy back up above. If it doesn't, then that tells you the mood of the market is changing. So for right now, the mood of the market is in rally mode, and there's a lot of upside potential available to it. And we don't get a lot of opportunities like these. There are some other charts out there. Let's see if we were to go out and take a look at Facebook. Facebook is a market that has had a strong rally. You can see we've got a price channel in force with it. This price channel's been in force for 10 years, and it bounces along the upper and the lower end of the price channel. Apple's another one. This price channel, again, been in force for over a decade. And even NASDAQ. The stock market indice of NASDAQ, prices have been conforming to this since 2010, so for about 10 years. And so these price channels do a good job of helping us frame the market, and until it breaks down below, we can assume that this particular mood of the market is going to continue. So if you like the content that you're seeing here, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Also leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this, and be happy to do more videos where we are sharing our charts, using our charts as visual aids to help us identify some of the trends that are going on out in the market. That way it can help you become more successful. So I want to wish you the best of luck in your investments. We will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye now.